Two hearts that fought destiny. In the large and fast-paced city of Dar es Salaam, where everyone was rushing to live life faster than time itself, there were two people who had no idea that their lives were about to collide in an unexpected way. They came from different backgrounds, had different personalities, and carried no shared history. Yet destiny had already written something different for them. One of them was Hassan, a young man with big dreams, but a life full of struggle. He worked as a phone repair technician in Kariakou, working from morning until late at night just to survive. He had a kind heart, but deep inside him lived pain he never talked about. Years ago, he had loved deeply, only to be betrayed and broken. Since then, he built walls around his heart and decided never to trust love again. The other was Zainab, a beautiful young woman with a bright smile and eyes full of dreams bigger than her current life. She was a university student studying communication and journalism. She loved writing stories about broken people who rise again. But she had no idea that one day, she would become part of such a story herself. One day, Dar es Salaam was hit by heavy rain. It started suddenly, as if the sky itself was crying after holding its emotions for too long. People ran in every direction looking for shelter. Hassan was working when the rain became too heavy to continue. He stood under a small roadside shelter, waiting for it to calm down. Suddenly, he saw someone running through the rain. It was a young woman, holding her bag above her head, trying to protect herself. She slipped on the wet ground and nearly fell. Without thinking, Hassan rushed and caught her arm. The girl looked up, surprised and slightly shaken. "Sorry, you almost fell," Hassan said calmly. She smiled shyly. "Thank you. I would have gotten hurt." They both stood under the small shelter, as the rain continued pouring heavily. A silence followed, but it was not an ordinary silence. It felt like something unspoken was connecting them. Zainab broke the silence first. "Do you work here every day?" "Yes. Kariakou is my life," Hassan replied. "You seem experienced in life," she said softly. Hassan smiled, but his smile carried hidden weight. "Not all experience is good." Those words touched Zainab, but she didn't ask further. Instead, she felt there was a deeper story behind his eyes. As the rain slowly reduced, neither of them wanted to leave. They ended up talking more. About life, dreams, struggles, and small everyday things. With every passing minute, they learned more about each other, and became more drawn together. That day eventually ended, and they exchanged phone numbers. Neither was sure if they would ever speak again, but both felt something had started. Days later, Zainab began texting Hassan. At first, it was simple greetings. Then longer conversations. Soon, they were talking every day, laughing, sharing thoughts, and slowly becoming part of each other's lives. Hassan started changing. For the first time in years, he felt happy. Every time he checked his phone, he hoped to see her name. Every night, they talked until late. Zainab also found herself thinking about Hassan often. He was different from anyone she had ever met. He didn't try to impress her with big words, he was just real. And that made him special. But life never allows happiness to remain simple. One day, Zainab received an opportunity to travel abroad for an internship. It was a dream come true. But it also became a test for her heart. That night, she told Hassan. "I know this might change everything," she said softly. Hassan stayed silent for a moment. He understood distance very well. "It's a good opportunity for you," he finally said. "And us?" she asked quietly. Hassan paused. "We will continue, if we are meant to continue." Those words hurt her, but she knew he was being honest. The day of departure arrived. Hassan went to the airport to say goodbye. When they met, there were few words. They both knew this was not a final goodbye, but it still felt heavy. Zainab hugged him tightly. "Don't forget me." "I can't," Hassan replied. "You are already part of me." As the plane took off, Hassan stood watching the sky for a long time. For the first time in years, he felt fear, the fear of losing someone he had just begun to love again. Days turned into months. At first, they talked every day. But slowly, distance and busy lives started interfering. Messages became less frequent. Calls became rare. Hassan began to feel something was changing. But he didn't want to believe it. Zainab was also living a new life. She met new people, gained new experiences, and grew in many ways. But deep inside, Hassan was still there. One day, Hassan received a short message. "I don't know if we are still moving in the same direction." His heart sank. He stared at his phone for a long time before replying. "If we are still connected in our hearts, distance means nothing." There was no immediate reply. Days passed. Silence grew between them. Hassan slowly returned to his old life, but something inside him had changed. He was not the same anymore. Zainab was also struggling internally. She had new opportunities, new people, but none of them made her feel what she felt with Hassan. Months passed. Then one day, she returned to Tanzania without telling him. When she arrived in Dar es Salaam, she knew only one thing: she had to find Hassan. But when she went to Kariakoo, he was gone. People told her he had moved to Temeke. When she reached Temeke, she was told he had moved again. She started to feel like she was too late. But destiny was not finished yet. One rainy day in Dar es Salaam, Zainab was standing near a bus stop holding her umbrella when she heard a voice behind her. "Do you still love standing in the rain?" She turned slowly. It was Hassan. They stood facing each other for a long moment. No words were spoken. Then Zainab finally said, her voice trembling, "I came back for you." Hassan smiled faintly. "And I was still waiting." The rain continued falling, but they did not run. They stood there, right in the middle of the city, in the middle of life, and in the middle of a destiny that had brought them back together. And in that moment, they both understood one thing. True love does not disappear. It only waits for the right time to return.